Right. Good morning, guys. Welcome to Clickbait Coffee. We're going to let YouTube and StreamYard catch up because it takes a hot minute. Let's see. BS was in here at 7:17 this morning, and Patrick was right behind him a little bit later, but was still here at 7:55. And 60 Old Man Growing's here. Good morning. All right, guys. It's Friday. What is today? Or no, heck, it's not Friday. It's Tuesday, the 24th. So getting screwed up on my days. Sometimes they all run together, but it's Tuesday and it's February 24th. February is pretty well gone. Saturday, and it'll be the end of February, and then we will be into March. So it's going to be amazing. Heck, spring's going to be here before we know it. So, and then let me check on something. I got a text message. Let me check real quick. It's the t-shirt guy. All right. We got some shirts ready. We got some shirts. I had to get some shirts. They've been going pretty good. So he just texted me. He's like, the shirts are ready. So I'm going to go pick up some shirts here in just a little while. Dana Russell. Good morning, Dana. But, yeah, today, well, my youngest one's got an ear infection and doesn't feel super good. So I am going to stay home with him today and hang out with him, make sure he's fine. My wife has got to travel for work, so I was like, I'll just stay home with him. Everything's fine. So I'm going to do a bunch of work here, but I told him, I was like, dude, if you stay home with me, we've got to go pick up a load of hay. And he's like, that's fine. I was like, you can sit in the truck, hang out in the truck. I said, we'll load those bales and then come back here and you can hang out. And he was like, that's fine. I will do that. So after this, I got to go pick up t-shirts and then go pick up a load of hay. And I would say after that, I'm going to work on festival stuff, man. I worked for a little bit. Canis, good morning. Glad to have you here. Yesterday I worked on some festival stuff. I had a few hours and I'm like, we got to work on some festival stuff. So we've got a ton of stuff coming up. Go check out the website. The website has got most of the workshops and a lot of the speakers that are going to be there. I just got a text this morning. Another speaker that we've had in the past, he texted me and he's like, I think I will be able to make it. Call me when you get a minute and we'll go over logistics. I'm like, okay. I was like, we can do that. But some of the speakers, Hoss is coming in. He has got, well, let me pull this up. Let's pull this up. It'll be easier. Let's find our speakers. All right. William Bond's going to be back. BS, good morning. William's going to be back. Jacob Peterson is going to be back. Jacob's going to be talking. The title of his thing is deprogramming and understanding SOPs for normal people. Jacob had done some stuff in SOPs in the military, and I was like, hey, you need to talk about some stuff that's going on with that. Just like one of the things is Mama Bear, good morning. One of the things, I was watching some stuff, and they're like, oh, the government's going to tell us about aliens, and that aliens are real and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, this is like a whole SOP thing. They're wanting to distract you on all this. And so I was digging into that last night a little bit. And of course, I was looking at some stuff. And one guy was like, hey, the whole alien thing, I think this is what they're going to do. And he was talking about how they're going to release this alien stuff. And it's going to be this deal to where they say that these aliens are gods and this is the Antichrist and all this. And, we're going to solve all your problems and this kind of stuff. And I'm like, man, this crap is getting deep. I was like, it's kind of crazy. But you know how the government it is. It's like all this stuff is happening. We've got stuff going over close to Iran. They're talking about striking Iran and all this. And they just want to get your mind off other stuff. So I could really believe that they're going to be like, oh, the aliens are real, and they just keep leaking this little bitty stuff out. And pretty soon, the way they've got holographs and stuff like that, they can project these holographs of these aliens coming down from space and saying, hey, we're going to we can solve all your problems and this and that. And, just trust in us and let us take care of everything and it'll all be fine. Who knows what the government's going to do? That's why, like an old man told me one time, he said, Jason, he said, in your life, he said, don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see. And I'm like, that's true. I mean, if you look at it now, don't believe stuff that you're seeing on the internet all the time, and don't believe, I mean, like half the videos you watch now, whether it's on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, there's a ton of AI stuff out there. And it's like probably over half the stuff that you see on all social media is all AI stuff. Like my wife sent me a video of a lady doing she took a bunch of crayons. And melted them down in this container and then poured epoxy over it and did all this. And she was like, how cool is that? And I was like, that's cool and all, but it's AI. And she's like, really? That's AI? And I was explaining to her how to look at it and tell if it was AI. I was like, this chick has got a torch going over these crayons and the crayons have wrappers on them. I'm like, there's no smoke whatsoever. I'm like, if you're going to burn something and melt something like that, there's going to be smoke. And she was like, AI sucks. She was like, it ruins everything. And then one of my cousins sent me, you've probably seen the AI videos of where they're taking slabs of like when you cut logs, they call them cookies. You'll cut them like 2 inches thick and they call them cookies, and people do cutting boards and stuff like that. My cousin sent me a video of these guys taking these slabs, these cookies, and laying them on concrete floor and then pouring it full of epoxy and doing that. My cousin is like, can you do a floor like that for me? And I was like, yeah. I said, that video you sent me is AI. And I said, a floor like that, just the epoxy would be so stupid expensive that nobody could afford it. I was like, you're talking about pouring, like 3 inches of epoxy on there. And I was like, the epoxy's not cheap. I was like, it's AI. And he was like, okay, that'll work. So yeah, watch that. And let me see. Danny G's here. Cut V Farmers here. Pilgrim, good morning. Cindy Lou, good morning. Greg Skeens is here. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all being in here. All right, other speakers. Brittany Baker, Mission Brit. Brittany is amazing. She helps, she's helping people essentially everyday life to financial resilience. It's faith-led income streams for family, homesteads, and self-reliant people. So if you're thinking about trying to make some money off your social media, your homestead, stuff like that, Brittany's going to talk to people about that and how she can help you with it. Brittany has been amazing helping us on our website and showing us all kinds of fun stuff. Kayla Lynn from Tactical Response, she's going to come in, and it's going to be mindset meets morality, the duty of a martial path. So Kayla owns part of Tactical Response. James Yeager is James Yeager's her dad, and so Kayla's a wealth of knowledge. I love talking to Kayla. Carter Lee, good morning. How are you? Let's see. Hoss Boyd is coming in. Hoss is the CEO of TerraVolt Energy. Hoss is going to talk about. Hoss is going to be talking about solar stuff, generators, battery banks, all that kind of stuff. Brian and Susan, the good old standbys. Brian and Susan are always at the festival, and I like talking to Brian and Susan. They know they have forgotten more than I know about amateur radio and just communications in general. So they'll be there. Erica and Dylan are going to be back from Chronically Healthy. I don't know exactly what they're going to talk about, but their stuff is amazing. Anytime they talk. Jeff Smith's coming back. Jeff's going to be talking about, I think Jeff is going to be talking about getting home. How if you're out, different places, you've got to have a plan to get home. So Jeff's going to talk about that. We'll get over to some of the workshops. And Cindy, think the movie Independence Day. Yeah, exactly. It's like they're going to show all this crap. They're going to show all this crap, and it's going to be like, oh my gosh, the aliens are real. If they come out and they say, hey, aliens are real, we've got evidence of it and all this stuff, I'm going to be like, this is the biggest hoax ever. I do not believe in aliens. I don't think aliens are real. You know, little green men and people coming from different solar systems and all this stuff. I don't believe it's real. Now, I do believe in angels and demons. That's a totally different thing. So some people might be like, angels and demons are the aliens, which technically angels and demons are not humans. So they're not the human race. So people could be like, hey, technically they're aliens, but I don't believe in the aliens in the sense of, hey, there's little green men coming in on spaceships and ray guns, and they shoot a beam down and abduct you and then probe your butt to find out what's going on. So, I mean, I think the people that are like, oh my gosh, I was abducted by aliens and they probed my butt in the spaceship, I think those people were tripping on acid or something like that. And LP, aliens aren't real. No, LP, aliens are not real, and they don't come and get you in a spaceship and probe your butt while you're standing out in the middle of a cornfield or something. And I don't think they abduct cows either. So, all right. Some of the workshop stuff we got going on. Mike Atkins is coming back, and Mike's book. Let me see. Mike's book. Mike writes Edge of the Prefaces series. Mike writes those amazing books. If you do not have those books, you need to get it. I think book number 3 is out. Mike made me a promise. He's like, as soon as it's back, he said, I'm going to send you a copy. And I'm like, good deal. So hopefully I'm going to text Mike and be like, hey, hey, when's my book coming? So, but Mike's going to come back and be doing land nav stuff, land nav workshops. Everybody loved that stuff. And then I talked to Scott Wiley. Scott has got a training company. Scott's going to be doing a workshop on homestead protection. So we're going to go over that kind of stuff, look at it, and Scott's going to guide you through on how to start setting up a defensive program for your homestead. Enos Zook is going to be there. Enos is going to be talking about trapping. Enos is one of the best trappers around here, does tons of trapping for farmers and stuff like that. So Enos is going to be talking about trapping. Dakota from Better Built Dogs. Dakota lives down around Camden, Jackson area in Tennessee. Dakota's going to be up and going to be doing demonstrations with his dogs all weekend. He's got protection dogs and just family dogs. So he's going to be doing that. It's always fun to talk to Dakota. He's going to do a good workshop for everybody. Dana's going to be there doing fermentation. Everybody, I'm excited to get Dana to teach this workshop. And she's nervous as all get out, but she's going to do amazing. And then one thing, Michael Key and Kim Breed, they're both knife makers. They're going to have a forge set up there. So we're going to be pounding out some hot metal, and they're going to show you all about forging and stuff like that. That's going to be a fun time. Excited about that. Ryan Steva, he's going to be doing a workshop on how to, if you just got raw land or you got your place, on how to set this up in a home or in a permaculture way. Mallory, she is from, Barefoot Microgreens is her business, and the website, they're switching over from like WordPress to Shopify. So the Shopify website I don't think is up, but it's barefootmicrogreens.com. She's going to come in and do a whole workshop for us on microgreens. So Mallory does a bunch of microgreen stuff. I talked to her. I think I talked to her on Friday, and she was like, yes, I am in. Here's all my info. And I'm like, all right, that works. And then there's a bunch of other stuff. You can run to the website and check it out, but we're probably going to wind up with about 20 some workshops that we're going to have people teach. So it's going to be an amazing time. So get your tickets on the website. And then also for your tickets, if you want a shirt, one of the festival shirts, you can get those at 10% off when you get your tickets. And then, let's see, BS says, LOL, the good old days. Yeah, the good old days when we could get abducted by aliens. And then Greg New, good morning, Greg. And Cindy, any nice campgrounds near the festival? There is a KOA that's about I think it's about or between 5 and 10 minutes away. It's the KOA campground. If you just search KOA Bowling Green, Kentucky, they've got spots where you can camp. But I tell you what, get that pretty quick because they do fill up pretty quick. And then, yeah, Dana said there's a KOA less than 5 miles from the Ag Center. And that's the only campground that I know of that is close. I don't think there's any other places. We do have RV sites at the festival. So if you've got an RV, there are RV hookups. All you have to do is reserve your spot and then pay for it. It's a pretty minimal cost. They've got water hookups, and they have, I think it's 30 amp electric hookups. There's not a sewage hookup, but right inside the door, there's men's and women's bathrooms with showers, and there's showers where you can change, take a shower, and do all that stuff. And they're pretty stinking nice. The people that do it just use that. So, all right. So we got the aliens and the government and all that and being abducted. Have y'all seen what's going on in Mexico? I've not kept up with this too much, but I talked to one of my friends the other day. Yeah, I talked to him yesterday, and he's like, man, he said, we were supposed to go down to Cabo. He said, we were supposed to be down in Cabo right now. He said, I am glad, because his son got sick. And he's like, we canceled the trip. He's like, I'm glad I'm not in Mexico right now. And I was like, no kidding. I was like, that would be stupid to be down there. But I mean, it's like all hell is breaking loose in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Apparently, one of the main drug kingpin was killed down there. So all the guys are they're burning stuff and blowing stuff up and all this. And it's like, this is crazy. So take a look at that and then put, hey, some of this stuff could happen in the United States, in a grid down situation. People are getting stupid. They're burning trucks down. They're burning buildings down, shooting stuff, doing all this. So it's kind of a thing. Yeah. Yeah. And Jake just jumped on. Yeah. Happy to be home. I wasn't going to out who was going to be down there, but it was Jake. And he's like, dude, I am glad that we did not go down there. And I was like, I wouldn't want to be down there. That's for sure. I tell you, I'm not one of these people. I don't like, I'm good on not leaving the country. Honestly, I could care less about it. So just watch what's going on there. I mean, it could be, it could happen here, heck, it might come across the border. And then, these drug cartels might be like, well, the United States government did it. You never know. It was something, apparently, I heard something real quick, and it's like, think about this. The United States, the CIA or somebody went down there, and then all of a sudden this big drug lord got killed. So it's kind of like, yeah, let's connect the dots on that. And Cindy says, my camper is fully self-contained. All right. Well, Cindy, if you want, you can get an RV spot there. All the RV spot stuff is on the website. If you go in and look, you can get your spots on there. All right, let's see. Schwackham, I just checked the publisher and Amazon for Mike's new book and didn't see it. He put something out the other day, and I will text. Let's see what Mike. I look at the Facebook stuff, and let's see. Give me a second. All right, let me see the latest stuff. This was 3 days ago. He said, very excited about the release. The continuation of the story of Paul and his group is going to be a roller coaster, ready for more twists and turns. So I don't know I think any day now it's going to be coming out. So we will kind of look and see. Hopefully it would be nice if by the end of the week it was out. So I don't know. I'm excited to get it. Let's see. Cindy said, I'm going on a cruise next week. The last port is Cozumel. stay safe. I hope everything's good. I don't know. I mean, if you're not in Mexico too awful much and you're off in land, you'll be okay, I would say. But I don't know. I don't want to be out of the country. That's for daggum sure. And 60-old man, the cartel is armed as well as the military. Yeah, I mean, they've got just as much stuff as the military. It's kind of crazy. And Melanie's here. Good morning, Mel. All right. So just watch what's going on in Mexico. Maybe learn some, maybe there's some lessons to be learned, with what's going on in Mexico. We'll just have to see. And I know somebody will ask silver. Silver, let's see. Oh, let's just dab on silver for a minute. Silver's at 86.84. So it's not done a whole lot. It's just kind of flirting around here and there. So we'll see what happens with it. And Cindy said, if bad enough, I won't get off the ship. I don't blame you. The last cruise I went on has been a long time ago, like years and years ago. And there were a couple ports we went to, and I was like, I got off the ship for a minute, and I'm like, this place is nasty and dirty. I was like, I don't care nothing about getting off. So I just went back to the boat and hung out on the boat. And Swackham's, yeah, the same. I've been looking for book 3 ever since I finished book 2. Yeah, Mike told me, he's like, I am never going to write fast enough for you. And I was like, you're going to have to speed everything up. Either that or just not read book 3 until book 4 is almost ready to come out. And Greg says, not worth it until you see how much this is going to shake out for sure. Yeah, we'll see what shakes out. And Jake says, when they tell you an area is safe because it's a different cartel is not a good answer. Yeah, that's what Jake told me. He was talking to the people and they're like, yeah, this area is safe because it's a different cartel that controls this area. And Jake's like, that's not the answer I'm looking for. So, and Jake Likens, cartel leader, was tracked through his side chick and killed by lust. I don't doubt that. I mean, who knows what happened down there? We'll probably never know the real story on that. Greg says, you can always reread 1 and 2 just so it's fresh on your mind. I might. I have done that before. Gone back and reread some stuff because you do. Sometimes you forget, if it's several months that went by, you're like, what happened with this? So I might wind up just getting it on audiobook or something like that once they come out on audiobook and listening to it. So, all right, guys. Topic of the day, your gun collection won't save you. Let's talk about that. Too many, your gun collection is not going to save you. This is not anti-Second Amendment. It's not anti-defense. It's not anti-preparedness. It's more about balance. You see so many people, and the prepper community is all guns and gear and guns. And I've got a whole crate of AR-15s, and I've got 16 pallets of ammo for it and all this stuff. And you look at the people and you're like, that's awesome. How much food storage do you have? Or how much gas do you have for your generator? And people are kind of like, So, I mean, if you look at it, you've got to have some balance on that stuff. So, I mean, the defense matters, your security matters, being able to protect your family matters. And this is not about carrying, your everyday carrying a gun every day. It's not about this. I think you should carry a gun every day. I think you should have a rifle and have a rifle in your truck. I think everybody needs a truck gun. But to balance that too, you should have medical stuff in your vehicle and on you. I carry medical on me every day. I'm like, if you're carrying something to make holes, you should carry something to plug holes, in my opinion. People that just carry a gun and don't carry any medical stuff, it's like, man, you're missing half the equation. And honestly, if you look at it, you're going to use medical stuff far more than you're going to use your firearm. But if you're using your firearm a lot more than you're using medical stuff, there's probably something wrong anyway. So think about that. But the problem, some households are like invested like 90% of their prep budget goes into firearm stuff. And then they're like, well, I've got 10% to go out and buy everything else. And I mean, and when I'm talking about everything else, I'm talking about your food stuff, your water, communications stuff, your radios, uh, also saving money, financial resilience stuff, and then your medical supplies and medical training. So it's a big imbalance. I think that you should spend. I mean, if you've got 5 ARs and five Glock 19s and all that stuff, and you've got tons of ammo for all of it, you ought to be balancing out. And you've only got like one pail of Mountain House and like a case of bottled water. It's like, that's cool. You don't need to buy any more guns and ammo for now until you get everything built up. And it's fine. I mean, I'm totally cool if a guy's got a whole 12 by 12 room full of nothing but guns, but then he's got all these other rooms and all this stuff, all this other stuff, got tons of food storage, tons of water, tons of medical gear. It's all about balance on this stuff. And Swackham said, I went back through book 2. And Jake, no, tampons will not plug a 50 cal hole. Tampons are the worst thing and the stupidest thing to put in a trauma kit. Tampons are for women for that time of the month. They're not made for any kind of medical purposes other than that time of the month. And Cindy Lou, what preps would you take on the ship? No food or weapons can be carried. What would you take? There are some companies that make their non-metallic knives that you can go through a metal detector and they won't go off. So look that up. I would take a couple of those. Most of those knives are for stabbing and stuff. That, and then there's a guy that takes these are Milwaukee Sharpies. A Sharpie Milwaukee. There's guys that make these that they take the tip out and it's some kind of carbon fiber tip. And essentially you can take these things and stab people with it. So I would take that. I would take some OTC meds, stuff like that with you. I don't know. You might pack a jacket for sure. You never know, or a waterproof jacket, like a rain jacket, because most likely it's going to be warmer down there. Shoot, I would take some medical stuff with me. I mean, I would have a small IFAK in there. Have a small IFAK in there with tourniquet, chest seals, all that kind of stuff. Some quick clot. There's a tons of stuff that you can do. Sit down and look at it and be like, hey, can I get this on there? Make sure you've got some good shears, some good trauma shears you can take with you. So that's some stuff that I would take for sure. And Swackham, medical and OTC meds would be one thing. Yeah, exactly. And L2 Survive, what's up, man? And 5 ARs, those are rookie numbers. Yeah, 5 ARs is what you should go in and purchase at one time. If you've got all your other stuff done, that's what you should go purchase. If you've got, 10 years of food storage and, 10 years of water and all this kind of stuff, then you could go in and purchase 5 at a time. But yeah, if in a super prepared thing, 5 is getting to be some rookie numbers. But we're going to be prepared in all aspects, not just guns. Oh, Smiley, good morning. And Pilgrim says, get a real med kit. Yeah, exactly. Don't be using tampons. Get a real med kit. Get something like our IFAK. That is a real first aid kit. No tampons in there whatsoever. There's compressed gauze. You've got compressed gauze. That's what you need for wound packing. And L2 Survive says the ceramic knives. Yeah, the ceramic knives are pretty cool. And I'll see if I can find that company that I was talking to about some stuff. And And I forgot what it is, but they make some pretty cool knives. And BS says, good on food stores, need medical for sure. BS, if you need anything, shoot me an email. We can pretty much anything that you need, we can get you. If it's not on the website, we can get it. And just let us know about it, because there's tons of stuff on the site. And Pilgrim says, I carry a tactical pen when I can't carry a knife. Yeah, I want to order a couple of those Milwaukee Sharpies from that guy. I just hadn't done it yet. So we'll see. We'll see what we can do with that. All right. Finman on YouTube, I meant. All right. L2 Survives getting me in trouble. Honey, the guy on the internet said 10 years worth of food is not enough. Yes, keep going. 10 years is not enough. We need 30 years. Oh, Mama Bear came in, pepper spray. I don't know if they let you get pepper spray on that boat or not. When I mean, the last cruise I went on, it's been honestly probably close to 25 years ago. So, I mean, this was I don't know. It was before a lot of security and stuff like that. So I don't really know what they'll let you get on there or not, but heck, I'd try it. Worst case, they're just going to be like, no, you can't take it. And they take it from you. So, all right. Let's look at like real world events of where your gun collection is not going to save you. Real world stuff. We've got winter storms. We just came out of a big winter ice storm. I never used my gun in that. The gun stayed holstered. None of the other guns came out. We didn't have roving bands of people throwing snowballs at each other to where, we had to shoot these roving bands of, snowball throwing zombies. Hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, all this stuff, regional blackouts and everything. And it was kind of creepy yesterday. I was sitting down here at my desk doing some stuff on the laptop, and all of a sudden the power went out. And I was like, oh, did we just get hit with an EMP? What happened? What's going on? And, like 15 minutes later, it came back on, and my phone and everything else was still working. So I was like, no EMP. Somebody probably just hit a telephone or hit a pole. But the biggest problems aren't gunfights in this. Most of your biggest problems are going to be no clean water, no refrigeration because the power's out, medical emergency stuff, fuel shortages, financial strains, and then communication stuff. So if we look at it, if we look at this, and let's look at the ice storm. And I just said, I didn't pull my gun out for the whole time the ice was going on. Power was shut down. So that meant if the power gets shut down long enough, there's not electricity to pump water up to the tanks, the water tanks where they can gravity flow. There's nothing to do that. So you can run out of water. There's no power. So your refrigeration, your heat is not going to work. So, you got to have backup stuff for that. Medical emergencies. If there's 4 inches of ice on these roads, how do you think the ambulances are going to get places? Yeah, they might be able to get there, but it's probably going to take, 2 to 3 times as long for an EMS response to come in. So you've got to be able to handle some of these medical emergencies on your own until EMS can get there, if they can get there. I know, like my driveway, there was no way that a stinking ambulance could come down the driveway as icy as it was. We had a hard enough time getting 4-wheel drive vehicles without sliding into trees and stuff like that. So look at that. Fuel shortages on stuff. If there's no power, there's no way to pump the fuel out of the tanks that are in the ground. So then you're going to run into a lot of other stuff. Financial strain on stuff. If people aren't going, if you can't get out and you can't go to work, you're probably not getting paid unless you're on salary or unless you work from the house. So look at that kind of stuff. It can get, and longer term, it can get into a financial strain. Communication on stuff. If phone lines went down, I don't know how many people have landlines anymore, but if you don't have power to the cell towers, the generators run out and people can't get up there to refill the generators, then cellular communications are going to go down. Your Wi-Fi in your house is going to go down. So then these little jokers aren't working. So it's like, what's our backup plan for communication stuff? How are we going to talk to our parents that are 5 miles down the road? How are you going to talk to your brother that's a few miles, across the way? How are you going to talk to them? So most of your emergencies are not tactical. It's more logistical stuff. So we got to be in that. Nobody was out there roaming the streets with an AR-15, when the ice storm came. It's like people were looking for generators. People were looking for fuel, stuff like that. People were worried about how to heat their homes and all that. So it's, you're looking spoiled food, dehydration because you don't have water, a kid with a fever, a medical member, a family member without their medication, and it's kind of gets into decision fatigue too. So you got to look at that. And then Patrick says a tactical Sharpie. Yes, tactical Sharpies are cool. I'm going to order one after this show, I think. Then L2 Survive, prepper tip. They have knives on cruise ships. They hand them out at every meal. Yeah, just grab one of the steak knives and keep it. That'll get you a butter knife and go back to your room and file it down on the bed just like in prison and make you a prison shank you can carry around. And Mama Bear says, when you get on the boat, know where the handheld fire extinguishers are. They work for protection as well. Yeah, I mean, you could knock the hell out of somebody with a fire extinguisher. That's for sure. I wouldn't want to get hit by a fire extinguisher. And Swackham said, I've been listening to the podcast about the Donner Party, the extremes people will go to when there's no food or water and they're desperate, and desperate is scary. Just going to show how important these preps are. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could be in one of those things. There was one book that I read, a book series, and I forgot what it was, but essentially there was a virus or some kind of thing that affected all living plants. It was a blight, I think is what it was. And essentially all over the world, this blight killed all the plants. So if that goes with it, all your plants die. So then all the animals that eat plants die. And then all the other animals die. And so essentially the only thing that were left were people. And it talked about, cannibalism and stuff like that. And man, that book got pretty stinking dark pretty quick. It was a whole book series and I forgot what it was, but man, it was a good book series. I'll have to see if I can find it. But the problem with the whole tactical mindset and the whole prepper stuff, everybody gets that from the movies. It's like, the movies are training you, and the gun culture too is training you just to buy the newest, latest, greatest thing. I mean, that's all the gun tubers are all doing. It's like, oh my gosh, we've got to have this new scope that came out because your old scope won't do this, and this has got some cool tactical ring on top of it that your old one doesn't have. So spend another $500 on this thing. And also Hollywood, you see chaos and it's instant chaos. You see sirens, looters, dramatic standoffs of people standing off. If you don't put your gun down, we're going to shoot, this kind of stuff. But historically, real collapses are slow. It's not the first day out there, everybody's shooting at each other. And it's like, man, I'm glad I've spent all this money on my guns instead of food, because we're shooting the first day. Really what chaos is going to look like is rising prices. Hell, we're looking at that right now. Think of how much your grocery bill is now compared to like 3 years ago. It's probably tripled, honestly. So you got rising prices. There's still empty shelves in places. Still you go out and look, there's still empty shelves. So you're looking at empty shelves, delayed shipments of stuff, infrastructure strain. Just think about how much right now the grid is, if something medium scale happened, it's gonna hurt the grid tremendously. So you got grid strain and frustration. All that stuff is boring. It's not guys running around with chest rigs and plate carriers and AR-15 strapped across their chest. it's boring stuff that don't get solved with a gun. You know, granted, yeah, if there's empty shelves and stuff like that, most people are like, oh, I want to go in there with my gun and we're just going to take what we need. And I'm going to have my gun and I'm going to grab these beans. And if somebody says something, I'm going to shoot them. It's like, you're kind of a dork, honestly, in my opinion, if you're saying stuff like that. So all this stuff gets solved. Well, the way we can solve all this stuff is have the systems. And I've talked about having the systems and everything. You know, yes, security and guns are one of the systems. That's your defense system. But if you don't have the other systems put in place, you're kind of losing the boat. So think about it. Yes, Swackham, that is a pretty interesting book. If I can find it, I will tell y'all what that is. Mama Bear, one thing that often gets overlooked, getting the best physical condition as possible. And just as you train in other areas. Yeah, 100%. We don't need to be the gravy seals, you know, or gravy team 6 or whatever it is. I'm going to say it. I could stand to lose some weight. I'm not going to lie. If I could drop about 20 pounds, it would help me in my health. I need to start doing that. So we're going to start soon. Let me see. Cindy Lou, Rhode Island has almost 3 foot of snow. Dang. I know New York got hit pretty good, and whatever that Muslim terrorist that's the mayor of New York, he was wanting to pay people to come emergency snow shovelers. And the funny thing is, he's like, you have to have 2 forms of ID to sign up to be an emergency snow shoveler to get paid. And then people were complaining. It's like, you have to have 2 forms of ID. You don't even have to have anything to vote. And he's like, well, by federal law, we can't pay you unless you have 2 forms of ID, and we can register you for that. And people are like, I didn't have to show that when I voted. And it's like, oh, the great, conspiracy. It's like the Democrats want one thing, but then on other stuff, we don't have to do that. Tina, good morning. It's fine you're late. As long as you made it, we're good. Swackham says, same here. I need to drop some weight myself. But all right, the systems we're going to beat stockpiles. So look at it. Let's go with this. If you lost power for 14 days, we're going to do this. No power, 14 days. Are you more prepared to defend your driveway or sanitize water, manage waste, cook without power, and maintain morale? Which one are you more prepared for? If you say, statistically, you should, statistically, you're going to use more of the stuff in, the B scenario, making sure you've got clean water, making sure you can manage your trash, making sure you know how to cook, making sure you know how to keep your house warm or cool, depending on what we're talking about, and maintain morale. If you said you are more prepared to defend your driveway than that, you've got everything out of balance. We need to rein everything back. And Andrew Massey, good morning. We need to rein everything back and be like, hey, you're 100% prepared to defend your driveway, but you're probably not going to have to. Let's look at the other things on it. And then this is another thing I did have in here even before Mama Bear said, about fitness and stuff. It's like, can you carry a 5-gallon bucket full of water for 50 yards without having a heart attack? Can you walk 3 miles? If we have some kind of big thing, it's like, hey, we're probably going to be your, your BMW is going to be the form of transportation. It's boots made for walking. So can you do 3 miles? Are you somebody that if you walk up the steps, you're winded and stuff like that? Health is a major concern on this. And that your health, being able to walk, if you can't walk 3 miles, if you can't carry a 5-gallon bucket full of water more than, 4 or 5 feet, health is preparedness, mobility is preparedness, and also endurance is preparedness, and I'm not saying you've got to be, the same preparedness and fitness aspects of a 25-year-old male and stuff like that. But it's like, we need to be able to do some stuff. And I know hell, I'm getting older. Everybody else is getting older. I mean, we're not, I'm not as good a shape as I was at 25 and can't do all that stuff, but you need to be kind of close to some of that. And one of your biggest vulnerabilities is not your fitness is a bigger vulnerability than not having a new gun. So look at that. How many times are you going to have to go get water? How many times are you probably going to have to walk to the neighbor's house, as opposed to how many times are you going to pull your gun out and use it? So look at stuff like that. Also, the medical gap on stuff. You've got infections, cuts, burns, chronic stuff that flares up. We've got to be prepared for all that stuff too. So if you just keep buying and just making this huge gun collection and you're not spending money on other aspects of your preps, you're losing the game. You're just like, I've got all these guns, but I don't have any food. Let's see, L2 survive. Statistically, my septic well, whole solar, walk-in cooler, wood stove, and Starlink say I can play with my guns if we're cut off from services. Yeah, I mean it. Yeah, and you've got to balance it. Some people are great balanced on stuff like that, and if you're totally balanced like L2 survive, it's like, dude, if you got all this stuff, go buy more guns. Go buy them and buy as many as you want to. Buy all that stuff. I'm not saying don't buy any more guns. I'm saying stay within, don't be 90% guns and 10% everything else, because it's just not going to work. But yeah, L2 survive. If you got all that stuff, go play with the guns. And Cindy, my mind tells me I can, but my body tells me different. Yeah, exactly. Greg New and I were talking about that this weekend. It's like, yeah, I feel like I'm 25 still, and I go out and do something stupid, and then the next day it's like, ooh, I'm not 25 anymore. So, but some of the stuff on it also about the community truth, some of that stuff, one household is not going to grow the food, maintain security, repair all the equipment, provide the medical care, manage the flocks, manage your livestock, and sleep good. So it's going to take the whole systems of doing this. And it's going to take the whole system. It's going to take the security guy, but it's also going to take the medic. It's also going to take all this other stuff. And, what I'm saying, I'm not saying don't own firearms. What I'm saying is get the entire plan and incorporate the firearms into that plan. Don't let your plan be solely, hey, I've got guns and I know how to use them, because that's a stupid plan in my opinion. That shows me that you're going to go out and be one of these guys that just raids people, or one of these guys that's like, well, I've got a gun, I'm going to take what I need and I'm just going to go break in people's houses and steal stuff. If that's your plan, honestly, you're a shithead, and I hope if that's your plan, somebody's going to take you out, because we're not going to go out and steal stuff from people. We're not going to do that stuff. We're going to prepare and live a moral life on doing stuff. Don't go out and plan to just shoot your neighbor and be like, I'm going to take my neighbor's stuff because I know he's got this. It's like, you're a turd if you're going to do that. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. We need all the other pieces in place, because your puzzle's not done. You can have all your gun pieces in your puzzle, but if you don't have your food, your medical, your comms pieces in, your puzzle's not done. Your puzzle's missing pieces. L2 survive. I do need a freeze dryer and night vision. Yes, I have a freeze dryer, but I do not have night vision. I want to get some night vision. I just can't cough up that money. I could have done some night vision for what the freeze dryer cost, but I figured the freeze dryer was going to be more important. And Cindy Lou says she wants a freeze dryer too. And 60-old man, an easy exercise that works is a farmer's carry. Pick up 30-pound dog food the other day and put it in a cart, and realized I just done it with one arm. Farmer's carry. They work great. Yeah. I mean, you can do that. I mean, I will grab bags and do stuff like that. And it's, repetition. I tell you, farm work will keep you in shape better than going to the gym. Yeah, and the farmers carry. So just guys, keep your priorities in line. Let's not just get too heavy on the gun stuff. Uh let's stay and get all the puzzle pieces put together. Guys, if y'all got any other comments, let me know. That's all I've got. I'm not saying don't go buy guns. Go buy some guns. Have fun with your guns. I've got a gun sitting right behind me. I've got more than that. I carry a gun every day. I don't want people to think I'm saying don't carry your gun. Have your gun and carry a firearm every day. Have a gun in your truck. Have some kind of truck gun, preferably, something that you use and you know how to use. Keep that stuff with you. We still need to defend ourselves, but we don't need to spend all our money on that. Also, before we scoot out, your festival tickets. If you want festival tickets, grab those. And then we've got three amazing workshops that we're doing. We're doing the pig processing workshop. That is going to be coming up. That's less than a month away. That's March 21st. We've got it. It's going to be here at my place. You can get your tickets on the website. We're going to show you how to take this pig from breathing in the morning, and it's going to be in VacMaster vacuum bags in the afternoon, ready for the freezer. The sheep processing workshop, that is going to be April 11th. That's going to be here at my place. We're going to do 2, possibly 3 sheep, depending on how many people we have and how much time we've got. But these sheep will be alive in the morning, and they'll be lamb chops in the afternoon. That's going to be April 11th. And then the radio workshop that Brian and Susan are doing, that's going to be May 30th. Brian and Susan are going to show us tons of fun stuff about the radio. It's not going to be death by PowerPoint. We'll have some PowerPoint, but most of it is going to actually be using the radios, setting up some expedited antennas, setting these up, seeing how far we can get out with our VHF and UHF, and then also setting up some HF stuff and seeing how far out we can get with that. So look at that kind of stuff. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. I told Brian and Susan, I'm like, I want to set up an HF rig and see how far we can get out with that and do some stuff. And he was like, okay, I mean, you can get out pretty far with just a stinking wire, just a wire set up in your in the trees. I mean, 8-9 foot off the ground, or even if you set it 6 foot off the ground, it's amazing how far you can get out with that, and hit a couple states over. It's cool once you get in there and figure that stuff out. And Brian and Susan are going to be here May 30th to teach you some of that. Get your tickets for that. And it's going to be a smaller class, just where everybody gets time on the radio. It's not going to be 40 people or anything. We want to keep it small to where everybody's got time, one-on-one time with the instructors, and you can figure this stuff out instead of having 11 people and you don't get your questions answered. You don't get to play with the radios, anything like that. And Jake said, don't forget mental health. If you're struggling now in a crisis, your thought process will be compromised. Yeah, exactly. And let me see. Mama Bear, I sent you a message through the website as an introduction, homeschooling, etc. All right. Hopefully, Mama Bear, sometimes Shelly gets those and sometimes I get those. So my email is jason@KentuckySustainableLiving.com. So we'll look. If Shelly got it, she'll forward it to me. So guys, I gotta go check on the little dude and tell him he needs to get dressed while I warm the truck up and go hook the trailer up so we can go pick up some hay and do that. And then I'm gonna come back and throw some hay out for the sheep and see how they're doing. And then I'm going to sit down here in the office the rest of the day, pack up some orders. I do have to go dig some comfrey. Man, I tell you what, I got to dig. People have been buying the snot out of comfrey. I might have to put comfrey on hold. If you need comfrey, you need to order comfrey now, because I'm probably going to put a stop on buying comfrey until spring rolls around. That stuff starts growing more, because I'm having a hard time finding comfrey out there right now because everything's died back. And I've had to really search around and find some of it. But if y'all need comfrey, get it this week because I'm probably going to put it on hold until spring comes. Guys, I appreciate all of you. Shelly and I will be back here tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, and then I'll be back here Friday. If you need anything, shoot me an email. If you need any first aid medical stuff, jump on the website. And if you got any questions, shoot me an email. But guys, I appreciate it. And y'all have an amazing day. And I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Bye.